Louis C.K. popping up on the Adam Carolla show is interesting, not because he suddenly said anything shocking, but because it's arguably the first time he's properly talked about his cancellation on a big public platform, instead of just quietly grinding it out in comedy clubs and on his own website. For years, it's been this weird half-existence where he's clearly still working, clearly still selling tickets, but not really addressing the elephant in the room in long-form, mainstream conversation. And now here he is, basically saying, yeah, a story came out and it completely knocked him out of the business right when his movie was supposed to come out. And that timing is kind of brutal when you actually sit with it.
I was told that you made a feature film that has not been released. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What is the story?
I made a movie called I Love You, Daddy, which I made independently. And it was supposed to premiere the day the story came out about me that put me out of the business. So I bought the rights back, and it's mine. I own it, so I can put it out when I want to. But I'm just waiting. I might not.
Did you?
Right
you
now,
wrote it?
Wrote it and directed it. Yeah.
Are you in it?
I am. Yeah.
And are you starring in it?
Mm-hmm.
And who else is in it?
John Malkovich, Edie Falco. Chloe Grace Moritz,
so you got a
Rose
good
Byrne.
cast,
yeah,
and it was a decent budget.
I paid for it myself. It was $5 million. I just made it with my own money. That's what I was doing back then. Because I had made this show called Horace and Pete, and I released it on my website, and I paid for that one. Had Alan Alda and Jessica Lange and Steve Buscemi, and Edie Falco, and I released that on my website, and I paid for it myself, and I made a good profit on it. So I was just going to repeat that.
So the model for you of being sort of pushed out of Hollywood and going your own way, turned out to be a good thing, big picture? I
think so, because I've gotten to do what I want. I don't answer to anybody, and my fans get it directly, and they like that.
Right.
I have a good relationship with my fans all over the world. I have a big email list, and I just tell them, here's another thing. And they like the terms that they get to work from me, because they get a lot of this stuff you get. You can download it and keep it, and I don't know, it's just a little cheaper than some. I mean, although I don't do a subscription thing, But anyway, I think the last few years have been hard for anybody in show business, and in terms of like the rules of play and what you can and can't say. But it's got nothing to do with me.
What's wild is how matter of fact he is about it. He doesn't do the whole redemption tour speech. He doesn't try to relitigate the past. He just says, yeah, the story came out. I was out of Hollywood, so I had to build something else. And that something else is what he calls a closed circuit system. No Netflix, no HBO, no executives, no corporate platforms. Just a massive email list, his own website, and selling directly to people who already want to hear from him. It's basically the indie musician model, but for a comedian who used to be at the absolute top of the TV comedy food chain. And this is where Adam Carolla comes in with a spicy take, because Carolla straight up argues that Louis is basically cancel-proof. Not in the sense that you won't lose big platforms, because obviously you can, but cancel-proof in the sense that if you're good enough, people will always pay to see you.
Yeah, so like doing a special, shooting it, paying for it yourself, and then releasing it yourself.
Yeah, it does good. It does good, and they can only get it from me, so, if you're my fan, come to me.
X amount per download?
Yeah. Well, no, it's one, you pay once, and you get to download it a few times, but you can stream it for like years. You can access it as a stream for like 5 years, and you can download it. I don't remember how many times. I think 5 or something.
Yeah, so you can work outside the system, but you have to be good.
That's it. Yeah.
And I don't know why I became sort of interested in this subject, but I was talking to Greg Gutfeld about it a couple of years ago, and I kind of realized that the people who were good were able just to wander off of the farm or the plantation or whatever you want to call it. Right. But you have to be good, and you don't have to. It's like, let's say Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
you probably don't agree with Tucker Carlson,
not
but
usually.
he's good
Sure.
at what he does.
Yes.
And so he can leave
Yes.
and he can go be rich outside of Fox
right.
or wherever else and just go be rich.
That's right.
And there's a lot of these people out there where they really, but the caveat is you got to be good.
That's it.
And you don't, Tucker Carlson doesn't have to be a great stand-up comedian, and Louis C.K. doesn't have to be a great commentator. You just have to be good at comedy. He's got to be good at commentary. And again, he doesn't have to be right.
No.
And he doesn't have to be anything other than good. And he's got to drift off, and then you can do it.
It's a big world, and there's a lot of kinds of people. And this thing that people start to say, it's why I don't get interested in it when people say everyone's mad, that kind of thing. They always use this everyone. It's really not that many people.
Now, whether you agree with that framing or not, it does explain why comedy clubs were willing to work with Louis again. Clubs don't really run on think piece logic. They run on whether people buy tickets and order drinks. And if someone can still sell out shows, that's pretty much the end of the conversation. Louis even says that going back to clubs, back to smaller rooms, was what allowed him to keep working when the big doors were closed. Not because clubs are making some grand moral statement, but because they live in brass tacks reality. Seats filled equals business functioning.
So if you're rejected by a certain facet of society, there's other people. And you have a right to seek support elsewhere. And if other people have a right to hear you, if you have a way to do that, that's great. Some people don't. I mean, the thing about stand-up is it's got a pretty deep bench system, So I was able to go back to work in comedy clubs. Comedy clubs are just like, if you can sell out a comedy club, they will hire you. They're not accountable to the greater culture. They're just in Dayton, Ohio's comedy fans.
Yeah, comedy clubs are sort of very brass tacks. They're like, we will give you 90% of the door.
Yep. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Still.
We sell food and we sell drinks, and we're going to be the world's worst, most expensive restaurant if you can fill this restaurant for us twice a night, and once on Thursday and once on Sunday.
Exactly.
And it's a very, there's no third party involved. There's nobody talking economic theory. There's no anything. It's just you put these fannies in these seats, we'll give you most everything they paid to come in here.
That's it.
And then you can walk out with a bundle of cash.
A lot, yeah.
And they can be completely happy.
That's right.
And want you back 9 months later because you filled their restaurant. And people can go, you made $47,000 for 1 week. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the guy who runs the restaurant, or the cook, or the chef, or the guy's bussing the table? So I go, they're all happy.
In a weird way, this whole conversation isn't really about forgiveness or redemption. It's about infrastructure. When the mainstream system cut him off, he built his own smaller system and survived inside it. And Carolla's bigger point is that cancellation mostly applies to giant stages. You might lose the Olympics, the award shows, the late night couch, all that shiny stuff. But if you're actually good at the craft itself, you can drift off the big corporate farm and still exist. Smaller audience, less status, less money maybe, but not silence. And that's the part people don't always want to admit when we talk about canceled comedians. We talk like cancellation is a switch that gets flipped and suddenly you're erased from society. In reality, it's more like you get demoted. You fall out of the premium tier and into the independent tier. And depending on your fan base and your work ethic, that tier can still be very, very livable. Now, none of this magically rewrites what happened or how people feel about it. Louis doesn't even really try to do that here. He's not asking for sympathy. He's not doing apology monologues. He's just explaining how the industry door slammed shut and how he walked around it instead of standing there knocking. And Carolla, being Carolla, turns that into a broader argument about talent, markets, and how moral outrage doesn't actually replace economic reality. So if this is his first real public conversation about being canceled, it's kind of telling that it's not emotional, it's not dramatic, it's not a comeback speech. It's more like a business postmortem. This is what happened, this is what I lost, this is how I adjusted, and this is how I'm still here.